Okay, so welcome back, everyone. I hope people are safe and well. This interview is going to be following our previous theme of understanding small businesses in our community and how they've weathered through pandemic. So previously, I interviewed Miss Laura Fuller, who owns Fuller Cup in Winchester, and today I have the privilege of interviewing Mr. Jeffrey Mancarella and Mr. Todd Flolo, who are co-owners of Ciao. They offer the finest products for dogs and cats at reasonable prices and are, of course, located in our own Winchester downtown. So without further ado, welcome Mr. Mancarella and Mr. Folo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to interview you, of course.
Absolutely.
So yeah, the pandemic, it's been challenging for everyone, but especially small businesses with forced closures and mandates and whatnot. It's been difficult. And then on top of that, even when a lot of the restrictions were lifted, it's still difficult because there's just overall reduced foot traffic. But Chabao still seems to be thriving. They have two locations. So what I'm very curious about is what's the secret recipe? And before that, if you wouldn't mind just giving us a brief introduction about yourself, Chabao, how it started, and maybe what some of the services that you offer, that would be great.
Yeah. So I'm Jeff, first of all, my partner Todd. So we actually purchased our first store in North Andover in 2019, right? 2019. My God, we're forgetting already. So it's been about 2.5 years. So that was an existing location that was there for about 10 years. Todd and I had started looking in the industry, the pet industry, probably about 2018 or so, just deciding, do we want to do a training center? Do we want to do a retail? We knew we wanted to be in this industry. So sure enough, this pet resale store in North Andover became available. We walked in that store. We knew from the second we saw it that we wanted the store. Made an offer the next day, and that is our history. We love dogs and cats and all kinds of animals. We have a dog ourselves. Our dog actually got diagnosed with diabetes about 4 years ago. So that really got me, especially because I'm honed into, I want to do better, I want to do better, I want to do better.
Right.
I talked well about how we could do. So some people go out and buy a new pair of socks for their dog. We bought a store. That's kind of our funny story. We wanted to do the best we could do for him and help other animals as well. Because our dog was so healthy and is so healthy, thank God, at age 12. But we wanted to really help this industry and be a part of this industry. And sure enough, the retail part is where we are. And tying to COVID, we opened this store in really the tail end of COVID when it was really starting to calm down a little bit. We had started looking at this location right when COVID had unfortunately hit in March of last year. So we waited a little bit and we just knew, again, this town, Winchester, is just an amazing community. Amazing community. And we wanted to open a store in this location. And sure enough, everything just fell right into place. The community has been very welcoming for the store. And we're just working through things day by day.
That's amazing to hear. Or Todd, do you have anything to add, or does that sort of cover it?
No, Jeff covers that pretty well.
Okay.
He's sat down.
And yeah, like I don't know if I actually mentioned this earlier. This is actually my first time doing an interview with two people at once. So I'm sorry if I'm unfamiliar with the whole dynamic between two people, but I'll learn this time.
And we have a little fly friend in our store at the moment too.
Three people at once, or two people in one insect. Yeah. But
exactly.
Right. Nonetheless, this brings me back to the second part of my question, which is you guys, I've been to the store before, and I know that you guys are very popular amongst the town. So how have you guys been weathering through this pandemic?
I think we take it again day by day. We've been very safe. We always want to protect our customers, our clients, and our staff as well. We've kind of, before when we were in North Andover, we actually mandated a mask in the store, and before it was even required through the state of Massachusetts. So we just saw it coming. And then here again, once when we had put the mask mandate in our store in Winchester as well, right before, about a month or so before they mandated it in Winchester as well. I think it made our customers feel safe. It made our staff feel safe. Again, I think we're living history. Who would have thought we'd be living through this type of pandemic, and we're getting through it, as a community, as a nation. This fly. So we're just our third party is not behaving. So we're just doing it. It's a day by day. And again, we have amazing people in this community. Everybody's been very understanding that we have to wear the mask. We don't have people complaining. A lot of people during COVID got dogs, which again has been an amazing part of things. it's really, again, we had worked with a lot of the rescue leagues before this COVID, and just to see so many pets that didn't have homes that now have homes during COVID is just amazing.
Right,
Why
right.
we're in this industry. We want to help them. We want to keep them healthy. I mean, an average span for a dog used to be 9 to 10 years. Now it's 13, 14, 15 years.
Yeah.
Yes, we've got better foods, we've got better treats, etc. So,
And that actually brings me to an interesting point, which is that was the increase in pet ownership during the COVID pandemic beneficial for your store? Because I know it's hard to balance given that COVID itself would have reduced foot traffic, but increased pet might have also increased it. So I'm not sure where to look for that.
yeah, I think it helped a little bit. I think overall, people were very cautious when this hit last year in March, April range. We had a huge spurt of purchases in April, like many people did, and then it kind of quieted down because people said, "Oh my gosh, I can't be going into stores. I've got to really be safe."
Right.
Then we declined for a few months, and then it just started going back up again around, I would say August, September, and now it's kind of just leveled off, and we're kind of doing our normal capacity. We've grown a bit this year, which is great in both locations. Again, I think people come to us. Our motto for our store is customer service.
Right.
We're working through a pandemic, whether we're working through summertime, wintertime, our focus is customer service and helping our customers and our clients. That is our goal, and we will do whatever it takes to help them and make sure they get the best for their pets. And I think our customers should realize that, and that is our goal every day.
And just to add to that point, I feel like that's also the appeal with a lot of smaller businesses, which is
Absolutely.
the personal factor. And that's what makes them stand out so much
Absolutely.
versus Walmart or something else.
Right.
But that also brings me to another point, which is interesting. You've mentioned it a few times here, and I've like you pride yourself on being a family-owned businesses and using family-owned businesses to source your products and stuff like that.
Right.
I was curious did that have any negative impact on the suppliers and certain opportunities that you might have had to pass up due to those sort of rules that you have for yourself in your store?
Yeah, I think we've been able to stick to our guidelines. We have a few of the family-owned businesses that have struggled through COVID and are still struggling because of staffing, because of product lines they can't get materials.
Supply chain.
Yep, supply chain
Hits us
issues.
just as well, but that means that we just have to focus on planning ahead and just working through them. So
we restructured our ordering process. So let's say there was a product from a family business we'd order once a month. Now we're ordering it twice a month, just to kind of give them a little. It actually sounds like, oh my God, you're putting more pressure on them, but it's not. Right. You don't get that one of those orders. At least we've got one of the two, and they know we're gonna fall behind. We've got at least one of the two orders. So we've been working with our suppliers to really, be a team with them, as we always have, but even more so they don't have to struggle. So if they can't get that second order for another month, it's okay, because we're going to just continually order from them on a regular basis, probably more than we did before. So
that's definitely good to hear. And just to clarify about your business in general, do you exclusively sell products for dogs, or have you offered services? And if not, do you plan on expanding to services?
So at this point in time, it's products
for dogs and cats.
Yes, dogs and cats.
Right. I'm sorry. I'm a dog person. I'm so fixated.
I
know. But at this point in time, no. But
we talked about a few things. Yeah, we talked about delivery services. We're bringing pets to their vet visits, all that type of thing. Bringing them to daycares. We talked about a delivery service that way, or transportation, I should call it, service. We'll see. You never know.
But our focus right now is making sure that certainly developing this particular location, because it's new, and we'll
see where we go from there. You never know when another one may pop up.
That's interesting. Do you have any towns in mind that you might want to add locations to, or if not, I do know it's early with the pandemic still, and I'm sure once again you're developing this store. But if you don't have towns in mind, is there a certain way you go about picking a new town to find a store?
We've actually had a few communities come to us, actually.
Wow.
Arlington, Somerville, a few areas that have learned about our store. Somebody actually just came in today, no joke, from Reading, even though they're between our store in North Andover and here. But like, wow, wouldn't it be great to have one in North Andover? So Arlington's really the one that has really been pushing for us to maybe open something there, even though we're fairly close here in Winchester. They
Sure.
would love for us to put one in the town center in Arlington. So we look at that, we look at the community, how many dog owners there are. We did a lot of research in Winchester before. Somerville's another area that has a lot of dogs, a lot of cats.
Right.
So we'll see, we'll see what happens.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That sounds great though. You guys are
Yeah.
expanding really quickly too.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
So in retrospect, do you think you would have done anything sort of differently in the last year and a half? Because it's so easy to obviously make mistakes, and you guys seem to be in a good position, but I'm sure you also have faced your fair share of hardships during these times or whatnot. So is there anything you would like to have done differently, or is there anything that you have learned from in your past experiences with COVID and stuff like that?
Well, I think, well, it's kind of hard to answer the question because, if you go back, obviously,
You can always change
the
them.
health aspect that we didn't know.
Right.
Scientists didn't know how this was going to spread and how it does, and how it as they found out it's more airborne rather than surface transmission and all that sort of stuff. So it's if we knew that, even if we knew that back then, other people wouldn't. So if we weren't doing all of the surface cleaning at the beginning, people would have not wanted to go to the store.
Of course.
But I think what we do different. I mean, we started doing our curb service up in North Andover. We do delivery at both locations now. So some people take us up on that. So that's something that we kind of wanted to do. We were pushed to do that a little more quickly than we had expected. So it's another way of developing, but I'm not sure.
I mean, I do understand how that could be a tricky question, because yes, of course, with everything, there's so many things that I'm sure many of us would like to change. But in that case, conversely, would you say that, I know you mentioned just your herb service right now, but would you say that you've learned anything new that you will, from the pandemic, that you'll use in future years? And that, what I mean by that is not necessarily used to continue to make do during the pandemic, but rather, even if the pandemic ends tomorrow, you'll still be using these sort of techniques.
Yeah, I think, again, thinking of our ordering process, we've really changed almost the whole ordering process because of COVID. Even though it's a supply chain issue, it made our store better. It made our store shelves fuller. So instead of running out of something maybe and having to wait a day for that stock to arrive, we've got it on the back stock waiting to go on the shelf. Right. So we've learned a lot, I think, from COVID and the industry, and just trying to stay on top of things. And
also keeping our eyes open to have multiple suppliers and stuff, just like any other business has to.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And those are certain things that I think everyone has sort of learned. And there are certain things that you can apply to everyone, regardless as if you own a shop or not. Pandemic has just sort of increased everyone's awareness. And that's one thing that's interesting. And I mean, through so many, not to sound like a cliche, but through so many like bad things, you can always take away something good. So that's always what I try to do during this.
Absolutely. It's always something positive you could take away. Absolutely.
Yeah, right. So I guess thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it, Jeffrey and Todd, for all of your time. I'm sure everyone values your products, and I want a pet so badly, but I'm still in the process of convincing my mom. So if that happens, I will promise I'll be at your store.
Absolutely.
Great.
I mean, we all know that pets, they're basically members of the family, and they're precious to their owners, and owners want nothing less than the best of them for them. And you guys, of course, offer that. So if anyone who's listening wants to pamper their pets, please go to Ciao Bow Wow. You'll love it. You'll love the experience. You'll love the people that you meet there, especially Jeff and Todd. And you are in for a sweet treat. So thank you.
And if you can't get to our store, we deliver.
Yeah, exactly. With a new service. Exactly.
Yes.
Alrighty. Thank you guys.
Great. Thank you. Bye-bye.